We're proud to announce
Chance Forever. Help Rotary make history at endpolionow.org.
That was a double dip. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Tulsa, the friendliest, most active service club in town. I'm Rhonda Daniel, your club president, and we are so glad that you are with us today. First, I would like to welcome District Governor Herb Orr and his beautiful wife, Carol. Give a wave. Now, our volunteers will come forward. The invocation will be led by past President Steve Clark. Song and pledge by Joseph Bias. Thank you, Tom Wolf, for being on the piano. Visitor introduction by Jerry Murator, and now past President Steve Clark.
Please join me in prayer. Loving God, bless us that we may strengthen our hearts and minds to retain the ideals of Rotary and practice them at all times. Let us hold our ethical standards high in our lives, in our homes, in our work, and ever strive to advance goodwill. Give us strength to serve wherever we're asked, in whatever capacity, and work like the burden lay solely with us, regardless what the cause may be, and grant us, through our faith in you, that our efforts will help us better our lives, and through our lives, better Rotary. Amen.
So let's sing America, My Country 'Tis of Thee. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the Pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to Rotary Club 2500, District 6110. Our district, by the way, has about 78 clubs with 4,437 members, 412 of which are members in this club. And I counted 8 guests that I'm going to name their names. And if you would all join, we would have 420 members. We would love to have you as members. Right, President Rhonda? Okay. Today, Rotarian Michael Turner. Oh, the custom here, by the way, is I'll introduce the Rotarian and their guest, and if you will stand briefly so we can acknowledge you with our glances, we will then acknowledge all of the visiting guests and their Rotarian hosts at the end with applause. Clear? I think I made that more confusing than it is. Okay. Michael Turner has with him from the Tulsa world, Ginny Graham. No, you don't applaud. See, you weren't listening. You know, Ginny, it wasn't anything personal. Okay. Karen Keith has 2 guests today, Joe Worley from the Tulsa world and Liz Exxon from OETA, formerly from Channel 2. Yeah. Rob Berry has 2 guests, his lovely sisters, Charlene Berry and Diane Jewett. Bob Wyrath has his spouse, Cheryl. Joy Longmire, she's got something charged back. I don't. Her spouse, Mike, is here. Hi, Mike. And Paul Johnson has brought his secretary, Amy Miles. Let's give our guests a big round of applause. What do you got on your head, Paul? You heard his head. Okay, and now we'll have visiting Rotarians. Of course, we already welcomed. Let's do it again. Our District Governor, Herb Orr, with his wife, Carol. From the where are you, Herb? Oh, right in front. From the Sunrise Club, Linda Ortega. Hi, Linda. And also from Southside Rotary, Ben Gurrell. Hi, Ben. You're all welcome to come back anytime. Thank you.
It's always interesting when he comes. Let's give him a round of applause. I'm done with you. A little bit better than that. One more time. I want to recognize this week's Rotary sponsors and thank them for supporting our club activities. Greg Keck with Jackie Cooper Imports. We want to encourage you to do business with your fellow Rotarians. In addition to the sponsors, let's take a moment and thank the volunteers who came early to make this meeting run very smoothly. There's one committee meeting today, Club Foundation Development, in room 233. On behalf of the club, I want to convey our sincere sympathy to past President Tom Reinhardt on the passing of his son, Thomas H. Tiger Reinhardt, in California 2 weeks ago. Cards are on your tables for extending messages of condolences to Tom and his family. On April 25th, mark your calendars if you haven't already. It's the Tulsa Rotarac's annual wine and cheese and chocolate fundraiser at the AHA event. Reservations are available in the lobby. Raise your hand if you went last year. You do not want to miss this. This is a great time and for a great cause. I'd like to take a moment to thank Rotarian Forrest Cameron. Is Forrest here today? Okay. For his generous coverage of the Greater Tulsa Reporter newspapers of the Above and Beyond Awards a few weeks ago, and the recognition in the March issues of the Club Centennial. We appreciate you, Forrest, and all that you do for Rotary. Let's give him a round of applause. Also, congratulations to John McGrath, John Wave, who fulfilled his blue badge requirements by attending Monday's board meeting. So congratulations, John. And now I'd like past President Dale Dreyer to make your way to the stage to introduce our new member from the podium. And thank you, Jake Dollarhide, for doing the new member orientation.
Thank you, President Rhonda. I'm pleased today to introduce to you our new member, John Murad. John is the founder and CEO of IMS Software and will have the classification of software development. He has a unique background in that he was born in Cairo, Egypt, and graduated from the American University in Cairo with a BS in computer science and a minor in finance. In 2000, John relocated to Europe, where he worked as a software developer until the company of which he was a part owner was sold in 2009. Then in 2010, he came to the U.S. and started the company here in Tulsa. John and his wife, Rebecca, whom he met in Europe and followed to the U.S., and then got married, now live in Bristow with their one-year-old daughter, Alice. Rebecca is the pastor of the First Presbyterian Church in Bristow and is a member of the Bristow Rotary Club and their immediate past president. And by the way, John became a United States citizen 1 month ago, and he did it legally. As I give John his name tag and his pin, would you please welcome him to Tulsa Rotary?
Look who is coming this way. The beautiful past president, Linda Bradshaw. And no, she's not talking about Centennial, although that's her middle name. She is coming up. Paul Harris Fellow Recognition presentation. So, past President Linda, it's all yours.
Thank you, President Rhonda. It's my honor today to speak on behalf of the Rotary Foundation, which is one of the largest and important programs of Rotary. Without the foundation, Rotary could not continue its many humanitarian programs and its efforts to promote world understanding, goodwill, and peace. The foundation is a nonprofit corporation supported solely by contributions from Rotarians and friends of the foundation who share the vision of a better world. The Paul Harris Society contributions to the Rotary Foundation support education, improvement of health, and alleviation of poverty that enable Rotarians to bring hope and promote international understanding throughout the world. As Rotarians donate beyond the initial $1,000 to the Rotary Foundation and become a Paul Harris Fellow, recognition points are generated in their name that can be donated to others. And today, Rotarian Eric Ortega has graciously donated his recognition points to honor his son, Sebastian Ortega Chuber, as a Paul Harris Fellow. And accepting this resignation today on Sebastian's behalf is Eric's lovely Rotarian wife, Linda. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Eric. Fellow Rotarian John Mixa has contributed to the Rotary Foundation and is being recognized today as a Paul Harris Fellow. Please join me in congratulating and recognizing our newest Paul Harris Fellows. Today, we are also recognizing our fellow Rotarians who are multiple Paul Harris Fellows. Multiple Paul Harris Fellows have contributed additional $1,000 gifts above the initial contribution to the foundation. This recognition is Rotary's way of expressing its appreciation for substantial recognition and contribution to the foundation goals. So at this time, I would like to recognize the following Rotarians on behalf of the trustees of the Rotary Foundation who have made it to the next level as multiple Paul Harris Fellows. Who do we have over there? Past President Karen Keith. I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. Karen is Paul Harris Fellow +2. Congratulations, Karen. Brenda Melancon, Paul Harris Fellow +2. Congratulations, Brenda. She's usually doing this. I'm subbing for her today. High Camp, Paul Harris Fellow +3. John Hare, Paul Harris Fellow +3. And now we have a special presentation. I think President Rhonda and our District Governor Herb Orr are going to go down to the floor level and will be presenting to Bob Roshaw his Paul Harris Fellow +4. And Bob joined Rotary in 1980 and is a faithful servant to this club. So I love him, and I thank you, Bob, for your support of the Rotary Foundation. Tony Oliva, Paul Harris Fellow +7. Thank you, everyone. And if you would please join me now in congratulating all of our recipients today for their contributions. And now our District Governor, Herb Orr, will present major donors.
Thank you, Linda. I'm going to raise this up just a little bit, if that's okay. You know, it's always an honor and privilege for me to be here. This is like coming home. This was going to be my first home club, and somebody else stole me. My dad took me to another club and introduced me to that club. But we've got two fantastic individuals, and I think you guys need to come up on stage if you don't mind. Bob McKenzie and Jack McClumphy. I'll get it right. All right. If you don't mind. And Bob, I know you. Nice to meet you. Today, the trustees of the Rotary Foundation and I have the honor to express our deepest expression of appreciation to two gentlemen, Bob McKenzie and Jack McClumphy, who have made substantial contributions towards the goal of international understanding and peace. In doing so, they both support and honor the humanitarian and educational programs of the Rotary Foundation that make a difference in lives of many others. It gives me great pleasure to announce that Bob and Jack have made contributions to the programs of the Rotary Foundation that qualify them for a level of major donor. Please accept our congratulations and appreciation for what you have done. Bob and Jack, as major donors, you're among a dedicated group of humanitarians who have committed themselves to helping others that are less fortunate. This is a very special group of persons who are changing the lives of children, young people, and adults through the legacy of hope. In appreciation for this investment in the future of humanity, the trustees wish to express their gratitude by presenting you with this diamond pin, Jack, and the peace crystal, which is pretty amazing. If you notice on that crystal, it has an image of a dove, which indicates the peace. Congratulations, Jack. Thank you, Bob. You know, at this point, I think Bob would like to come up and share just a little bit of information with you. Maybe tell you why he's decided to step up and do this. Bob is a great man, and I've known him for quite a number of years and really enjoyed what he has done for our foundation and what he's done for polio. He's an amazing man. Here's Bob McKenzie.
We're going to do the picture first.
Oh, picture first.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, no worries. No, you got to be in there.
I do?
Run over. Yeah. Where am I going?
I'll get on the other side.
There you go.
Get in the middle. Instructions. In the middle.
Are you sure?
Yeah, get in the middle.
Just be careful what you do.
Okay, now.
You know, I don't think Bob McKenzie has another shirt. I'm really concerned. I've never seen him. Does anybody ever see him in another shirt? All right. Well, here is Bob McKenzie. I think he has a few words to share with you.
Thank you, Governor Herb and President Rhonda, for the 29 minutes that you gave me to speak today. Wait a minute, that was 29 seconds, wasn't it? You know, one of the things they ask is why we gave, and I want you to know Jack has been a huge supporter of polio, and it's why he was on this stage today. So thank you, Jack. And of course, it's why I'm up here, is because I have given to polio as well as asking you to, and I want to thank you. I want to take the time to say thank you today to all of you that have supported me over these last 4 years of riding in the Ride to End Polio. This club has given over $100,000 in the last 4 years. And that has immunized nearly 200,000 kids. And very good. I want you to know we've had, I don't have my update, I'll get it later this afternoon, but we've had only 14 cases this year. Amazing. We say we're this close, let me tell you, we're this close. We've got Nigeria, who's not had a case in 7.5 months. And if they can go 5 more months, they will be put on as ending polio. And if they can go 2 more years, then they will be polio-free. And we'll have 2 countries left, Afghanistan and Pakistan. Pakistan has had 13 cases this year, Afghanistan 1. I ask this question a lot. It takes about 60 cents to immunize a child. And I ask this question, how many doses of vaccine do you think we use a year? And I get all kinds of answers, 500,000, 1 million, 2 million. And I want you to know that we use over 100 million a year. Thank you, and I hope you'll keep supporting us. We're almost there. Thank you.
Logistics are interesting. As you can see, we were trying to make everything flow great. And I tell you, one thing that I love about this club is the passion of people like Bob and Jack and the rest of you. I know you feel it too. I've got chilies. As J-Lo said one time when she was on American Idol, you can't buy these things. All right, we're going to have some side mic announcements. We have past President Linda Bradshaw and Tim Colwell at the side mic, followed by Stu McDaniel, and then Claudette Rogers, and then Matthew.
President Linda, it is our centennial moment.
It is. President Tim, our announcement today is very exciting. Of course, we're all looking towards the centennial celebrations, the gala on April the 1st. And, in this next week or so, you might be driving around town and seeing something in the city that looks something like this.
Ta-da!
Well, fellow Rotarians, we are so thrilled, and we thank so much Bob and Cheryl Wyruth. They, thanks to their generosity, would you please stand? This is just really kind of an unexpected gift that landed in our lap, and we are so thrilled. Bob and Cheryl have agreed to fund billboards, so you're going to be seeing this billboard around town, and we're this is going to be leading up. I'm taking your
You're good. I'm
We met with him last week. We agreed on some sites, and some of these billboards are actually going to be rotating around the city, hopefully for months and months to come. We want everybody in Tulsa to know about the great works of Rotary over the last 100 years to this community and around the world. And thank you to the Wyruths. We're going to be able to do that.
Absolutely, and I want to be sure that everybody knows that you haven't missed the opening of our time capsule. It will be open next week. You do not want to miss that. The media will be here. People are flying in all over to see what could possibly be in that time capsule. Yeah. And tickets are can be ordered online.
Yes, tickets for the gala, which is April 1st. Please, you could get them online. Call the office. Purchase them out in the lobby. We are quickly filling up. It's going to be a great event. We want you all to be there.
Thank you, Tim.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. This is the worst thing about running Camp Enterprise is begging for money. So we are less than a month away. It's April 9th through the 12th, and we are just a few thousand short of being able to cover all of the costs for the kids. We actually are up to around 70 kids so far, and John Raines and Becky Fields have got the counselors pretty much in order, so the camp is really coming together really nicely. We just need your money. But if you would be so willing to leave any money that you could cast toward the camp on your tables today, we're going to follow the meeting with an email as just a reminder. But this is a huge commitment to the Rotary community because these kids, this is something that they will never forget, is their experience at Camp Enterprise, and these are future Rotarians and future leaders of our community. and they're learning valuable business skills and leadership skills and training at this camp, and it's very important for us to contribute to that. So I hate asking for money. I really hate being asked for money, being someone that really has none. So I'm contributing about $2,000 of my own, so please, please, please help and let us make this camp better than it ever has. So thank you so much.
I'm Claudette Rogers, and I'm here on behalf of the Fireside Committee meeting, which is coming up soon. So what we're looking today is for host homes, just a few good homes. Now, what's nice about this event is if you host an event, you don't have to leave home. So for those Rotarians who haven't been active in a lot of events, this is the one for you. There are flyers on your tables. It's not until May 4th through the 8th this year, so it'll be warm, it'll be daylight. You could have a patio or a poolside fireside meeting. Get rid of the fire. Swimsuits optional. Well, maybe not if you're going swimming. So anyway, look at the flyers. It has all the information on what happens if you host a fireside event. It gives you a wonderful opportunity to showcase your house and have a few people over, get to know them better, answer a few questions about issues and opportunities pertinent to our club. So it's a great opportunity, and you get to stay home. Thanks.
All right, you missed me last week because of the snow. So you didn't really miss me. I missed all of you. But we have a few to get through this week, if we have the slides up. Firstly, congratulations to John on becoming a new member and your citizenship. From someone who did it a couple of years ago, it means a lot, and good to have you in the club. All right, we're going to get going with David Littlefield, who just celebrated his first Rotary anniversary on March 5th and gave $50. So thank you very much, David. So this one might get me in trouble, but I'm gonna run with it anyway. Oh, you don't know what I'm going to say yet. So we had a mystery Rotarian who kindly stepped up to recognize Phil for the efforts that he's been going through to rid Tulsa of litter on a stick. It was about a week after I'd made the slide that I was just looking at it, and I noticed all the signs that Phil had picked up, and then I noticed the one that he hadn't picked up but is gazing fondly at. And if you can't see it at the back, it says, "Mojo is better than Viagra, and it's only $7 a pill." So I don't know what to tell you, but apparently a mystery Rotarian thinks it's worth $50. So Phil, let us know how it went. Thanks very much. All right, so Mr. Keating responded that he would be recognized for his birthday, and we agreed, for his 20 years in Rotary, which we thought $20 was a good fine. And then he asked me to shamelessly plug his new book, which I don't know if you call it SASSY or SASSY, but I can tell you that if you want to buy a copy of it, it's available through Amazon.com, and you just search Martin's name on there. Also, he's going to bring 10 copies of this next week to the meeting, and it'll cost you $10 a copy, and if we sell 10 books and there's $10 a copy, our foundation will get $100. So congratulations, Martin, on getting the book done and published, and I've no doubt that this room will be picking up the latest one and reading it. So thank you very much, Martin. So Steve Perkins, 7 years in Rotary, and he's given us $70, and also another 3 for the sudden realization that his 3 little boys became young men. And from someone who has 3 little ones who are even littler, my son's nearly 6. It blows my mind, and apparently this is going to happen before I know it. So thank you, Steve, for $73. And we have another mystery Rotarian, and you can probably tell she's female, but that's the limit of what I can say. But she did want to say thank you to everyone for her first year as a Rotarian. So thank you very much. Now, I don't know if Jamie's here today, but he wasn't. He is here. So we didn't think we were going to be able to get this in, but we did. A late edition, 18 years in Rotary on March 12th. Thank you very much, Jamie. $100. Rob Berry, one of my multiple finees for the year. I love people who give multiple fines. He's celebrating 59 birthday years, 37 years of marriage, and 4 years of Rotary. And that miraculously adds up to 100. So thank you very much for your $100. So Jason George had a birthday on March 10th, and he also gave for opening day, which is the 39th opening day for the Drillers on April 9th, and the Tulsa Roughnecks, the new professional football. I mean, I think you call it soccer, but it's football that you play with your feet. So I'm just going to go with that. Opening at One Oak Field on Saturday, March 28th. So it's $100 from Jason George. Thank you very much. Jamie Cox had a birthday, or will have a birthday on March 15th, and she's given $121 for her birthday, Kat and Hunter's birthday. That's a good-looking family right there, right? Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Jamie. All of the other families were also good-looking today. I don't know what I was thinking. Speaking of good-looking, there we go. Woo! Mr. Downing celebrated his birthday on February 28th. And he also won Tulsa's Best Advertising and Marketing Agency for 2015 in the Besties. So way to go, David, and your team Acrobat. Thank you very much. And I am done.
Thank you, Matthew. And if you'd like to show pictures of your beautiful family, Matthew would take your check and your picture. All right, now it's time for our return of the day. Karen Keith, past President Karen Keith, is Tulsa County Commissioner. She joined our club in March 2004. So happy Rotary anniversary, Karen. She's a Club Foundation Fellow, Paul Harris Fellow. She served as Club President 2013-14. Please welcome this week's Rotarian of the Day and my friend, past President Karen Keith.
All right. Today's speaker is the first female to serve as executive editor of the Tulsa World, which has been around since 1905. Susan Ellerbach, in 1985, served as the paper's Sunday editor, state editor, business editor, reporter, and managing editor since 1995. A graduate of the William Allen White School of Journalism at the University of Kansas, Susan is a member of the Oklahoma Journalism Hall of Fame. And much admired in her field, she has served as director and former president of the Associated Press, Oklahoma News Executives, a former board member of the Tulsa Press Club, a member of the Associated Press Media Editors, and has been recognized as a newsmaker by the Association of Women in Communications. She is a graduate of Leadership Oklahoma and Leadership Tulsa, and serves on the board of directors for Iron Gate, a soup kitchen and food pantry serving Tulsa's hungry. Her family includes her husband, Richard, 3 daughters, the best son-in-law, and the world's cutest granddaughter. Now, what you don't know about Susan is that she is treasurer of the World Football League, an inter-office NFL football pool. Each week, she sends smack talk emails to all the participants based on weekly results. She is not above taunting her pool opponents, even the publisher. Of course, 2 years ago, when BH Media Handbook said no gambling, she was the first to seek dispensation from BH Media, and she got permission for their very innocent pool. Susan is bold. Her first move as executive editor, to great applause and approval, was to get a popcorn machine for Popcorn Friday. Please welcome an outstanding journalist and a 30-year veteran of the Tulsa World family, and now the executive editor of the Tulsa World, Susan Ellerbach.
That's why you don't invite friends when you're speaking. I am so thankful to be here today. I want to thank the Downtown Rotary Club for the invitation to speak to this esteemed group. It's indeed a pleasure for me. A bit of an intimidating pleasure, but still a pleasure. The quality of speakers that this organization brings before it is a who's who of community and often national leaders. I have found myself sitting in your audience many times as a reporter, and the view is much different from up here. I appreciate the invitation from Regina Moon, who couldn't be here today. I like how she told me in October she would be here to hold my hand. She's not. But I thank Karen Keith for taking on the last-minute opportunity to do that and hosting me. If you'll allow me a little bit, I'd like to recognize a few very important people. You have kind of recognized them already. Our columnist, Jenny Graham, has been one of our star reporters for almost 20 years. Sorry, Jenny. Today, she also writes a column for us regularly on Wednesdays and Saturdays. I am also... Now, I wrote this before Karen's introduction, so I am also pleased that my former boss, friend, mentor, and all-around wonderful guy, despite being a dedicated and crazed Tennessee football fan, Joe Worley is here today with his wife, Liz Exxon. I'm standing here today in front of you as the first female executive editor because of Joe Worley's guidance and support. When he announced last summer that he would retire in November, he encouraged me to step up to his position as executive editor. I could never fill his shoes, but to be honest, he can't fill mine either because he won't wear high heels. Liz Exxon is a distinguished journalist herself, reporting for many years on major broadcast networks, including KJRH Channel 2, and today she does exceptional work for OETA Public Television. So thank you all for being here for me today. But today you're going to hear from a run-of-the-mill journalist, someone who feels more comfortable talking one-on-one, someone who went into print journalism for a reason. I'd like to tell you a little bit about your old friend, the Tulsa World. And I say old friend because in June, even though y'all are going to be marking your 100th anniversary, at the Tulsa World, we're going to be marking our 110th year of service in this community. Sometimes we've done it exceptionally well, and sometimes maybe not so well. Many of you probably have an opinion on that. You can talk to me about it later. But as I stand before you today on behalf of the 350 employees that represent the largest media organization in northeastern Oklahoma, I hope you will come to know us a little better. And more importantly, I hope you will be reminded that although we now call ourselves the Tulsa World Media Company, we're your neighbors, we go to church with you, we sit next to you, our kids play soccer with your kids on Saturday mornings. I think sometimes people forget that. We're right here in this community. There is no question, however, that our business has changed. And yes, I said business. Although many view the local newspaper as a public service, we're in business, like you are, to make money. But I digress. I'd like to show you a short video that will give you an idea of what your newspaper is like today.
Every day that I walk in the Tulsa World, I feel very lucky and fortunate to have a job that I enjoy doing so much.
I mean, it all comes down to storytelling, and we know how to tell stories.
We're not a newspaper, we're a media company. We disseminate this information many different ways.
It's not just you meet deadline and you're done. You have to continue to follow that story and update it, and I think we're good at that.
They can't mail anything at the Court of Existing Claims then?
I just always wanted to know things before other people, but I also wanted to help people. To stay relevant in our community in this day and age, when people have so many options as far as content, especially free content, we want to provide them something they can't get anywhere else. And the watchdog reporting that we do at the Tulsa World, where we hold people accountable, where we make a difference, where we take the time to dig up records and data, they're not going to get that anywhere else. I just really love the work that I do because I get to make a difference in people's lives, and I wouldn't do anything else.
There are thousands and thousands of people in our community that have stories that they need to tell, and somebody needs to tell those stories. And I feel like as a photographer for a community paper like this, I'm the one that can tell those stories, and I love telling those stories. My name's Mike Simons. Mike? Yes, sir. Okay. Good to meet you. Thanks for letting me take your picture. And it doesn't matter what medium that we use to tell that story. We will always tell stories better than anybody else.
We disseminate this information many different ways, not only via the news printed product, but also mobile, digital, through Twitter, through Facebook, just a number of facets. Our audience is larger now than it's ever been. people reach us through different technologies that weren't available earlier.
It's not just a printed product that comes out on your driveway at 6 a.m. in the morning anymore. We're updating those stories online, on your phone, and I mean, I think that's what makes us relevant. Journalism is a collaboration. It's not something that you see through one person's eyes. You know, we collaborate every day. We have meetings with photographers, we have meetings with reporters, we have meetings with editors, we have meetings with designers. It takes a lot of people to put that, to put our products together, whether it's online or in print.
To make sure that we are providing as much information to the community as we can, all facets, whether it's news content, advertising, or anything else. And that, to me, is our goal. That's the way where I want to take us.
Okay, so that's the great company that I get to work for. I feel pretty privileged about that. But let me tell you a little bit more about where we've come. 2 years ago, this past January, Bob Lorton walked into a room full of department heads and told us that the Lorton family had decided to sell the Tulsa World. They had been in operation since 1905. The Lorton family had owned it since their early 20s. You could have heard a pin drop in that room, since he had an entourage of people with him, many of whom we'd never seen before. That old investigative reporter thing kind of kicked in, and we knew the news before he said it. At one point, I remember walking up to my new boss, Terry Kroger, CEO of BH Media Group, and through a few tears, because I'm sorry, that's sometimes what women do, I told him, "You have very big shoes to fill." As we mark 2 years this month, oh, I'm sorry, I'm supposed to do something. Is that it? Oh, there we go, yay. Okay, as we mark 2 years this month under the BH umbrella, I can honestly stand here and tell you that Terry Kroger and BH Media have more than filled those shoes. I'm very proud to work for Berkshire Hathaway. Are there differences in working for a corporate-owned newspaper and a family-owned one? Undeniably, yes. Previously, when I told people I worked for the Tulsa World, the first question would be, "Do you know Jason Ashley Wright?" Now the first question is, "Do you know Warren Buffett?" Well, the answer, unfortunately, is no. The only Tulsan I know who can say honestly that he knows Warren Buffett is probably George Kaiser. But I do know that he drinks 6 Diet Cokes a day, so before Lent, we actually had quite a bit in common. And not that I don't still love Jason Ashley Wright, but it's way cooler to be asked about my relationship with Warren Buffett. And if he happens to take a special interest in my 401k, then even better. But we are no longer a publishing company, but rather we are a media company. And as you can tell from the video, that title of media company is much more appropriate. But what does it actually mean? What it means is that we have new leadership under a new publisher. We have a new name, Tulsa World Media Company. Over the past 2 years, we've installed new business systems, a new news content management system, a new advertising order system, a new distribution process, and we've redesigned our website and put in a new system for that website. We have new computers and we have new photo equipment in the newsroom. We have been remodeling in different areas of the building, including the newsroom. We have training opportunities and support from our corporate office in Omaha. We network with similar-sized newspapers, including the Omaha World Herald, the Richmond Times-Dispatch, and the Press of Atlantic City. News and editorial decisions are still made locally. We have more coordination now between advertising, circulation, production, and news. And we have a greater emphasis on setting and meeting revenue goals and expense management. That's something that every department head has to focus on, including that one woman who married her husband because he could balance a checkbook. So that's me. Bill Masterson Jr. has been our publisher since 2013. He has been a newspaper publisher since he was 24 years old, more than half of his life. He was born in Lawton, Oklahoma. He's a rabid OU fan, and he couldn't be a better fit for the Tulsa World and for our community. He also serves as the vice president of BH Media Group and oversees our sister newspapers in Waco and Bryan College Station in Texas. His boss, our Chief Operating Officer, Doug Heemstra, who is based in Omaha, has been known to call Bill the Tasmanian Devil. Internally, we refer to him as the Energizer Bunny. It is not unusual to get an email at 4 a.m. on any morning. But BH has brought many positive changes. These are just a few of the numbers that I find astounding. On our average weekly audience for print and online, we reach 430,179 adults. That represents 41% of all of the adults in the Tulsa 21 county designated market area. In February alone, 1.7 million users visited TulsaWorld.com, a total of 2.8 million times, with over 5.8 million page views. Also in February, 14,000 users logged into the Tulsa World app on their smartphone and viewed over 1.3 million pages. We use 600 tons of paper a month. We use 7,200 tons of it a year at a cost of $4.2 million a year. Paper and people are the biggest expenses at our operation. Our press runs 65,000 copies per hour. If you've never been down there, you should come down and watch the press run sometime. What that audience range equals is that Garth Brooks has nothing on us. He sold out 7 sold-out conferences at BOK Center. If we took our readership in 1 week, we would sell out 22 BOK Center events. I think that's pretty astounding. As I've mentioned, we're your neighbors. We are 349 employees strong. The average tenure is about 12 years. I would say that it's a lot longer than that in the newsroom. The longest tenured employee we have is 49 years, and big surprise, it's not me. Last year, we worked a combined total of 750,000 hours, and my husband would confirm that. And yes, we are all proud to call Tulsa home. We want what's best for Tulsa. We live here. We raise our families here. We do not go out and look for news that makes Tulsa or Oklahoma look bad. I know sometimes it might seem that way. Unfortunately, those kind of stories come to us, and we do believe that we have an obligation to the public, to you, to report on our missteps. But we also want to be known as the media outlet that takes our front page when called for and celebrates our victories, our growth, our good works, and yes, 100 years of service to the Tulsa community. We want to recognize the good, honest, hardworking people that make a difference to all. Now I want to share something a little bit different with you. I always think this is kind of interesting. People always want to know what people look at on TulsaWorld.com. And this is what interests people around you. I always find it interesting. What do they find to be the most interesting stories? I do have a caveat. This top 10 is based on TulsaWorld.com. Our audience there tends to be a little younger, and in my mind, interested in a little more sensational. We know that we are working every day to engage 2 different audiences, our print readers and our online readers. But see how many of these stories that you remember. The top story in January on TulsaWorld.com was the Muskogee police released video of an officer fatally shooting an armed man. It had a lot to do with the fact that we were still kind of reporting about the end of the Ferguson situation, and this generated more traffic on our website than we have seen in a very long time. Number 2, she's always good for some traffic. State Representative Sally Kern filed 3 bills targeting gays. We like to report respectfully on those issues that she's interested in, and our readers like to come and see what's going on. Number 3, Charles Warner was executed, but we tried to turn that into a story about his victim. Oklahomans are tired of stories about botched executions. We know that. People have told us that. Reporters have told us that. Readers have told us that. Our publisher tells us that. We wanted to respond and talk about the victims. We had actually written a story about the victim that we ran last August, and we resurfaced that story and ran it again, and it came up as our 3rd most popular story on the website in January. And our good friend Garth Brooks, He put on 3 or 7 concerts during the year, and a lot of people came to TulsaWorld.com to look at what was going on. What interested me was our story about the moment that Garth shared, opening night of his concerts with a Special Olympian that was in the audience. It was an unscripted moment. That brought more readers to TulsaWorld.com than anything else. I thought that was great. I loved that. Number 5 was the Creeks when they took over announced the entertainment complex over there at Riverwalk. Number 6 was when the area ministers decided that they wanted to perhaps preach in hoodies as a protest. And we still have Garth at number 7. We did appreciate him coming to town. He helped us out quite a bit. Number 8 is our good friend Janet Barisi. And as I can say, dear Janet, our website misses you already. You did provide, she did provide a lot of traffic for us. So we do appreciate that. Number 9 was our OU Sports blog. This was not even a story that we ran in the newspaper. Our OU Sports blog with Garen Emick and Eric Bailey was the highest ranked blog that we had in 2014. That's not too surprising. But when the Sooner mascot got a little randy in the stands, a lot of people came to read about it. And number 10 was the 6-year-old former Tulsa boy who was killed in a Wisconsin shooting. Again, we try to tell the victim's story. It's an exciting time for Tulsa World, but you might ask, what does our future hold? In April, the BH Media Customer Service Center will open at the Tulsa World. It will be on the bottom floor. We're spending about $4 million to put that in. We will be hiring about 65 customer service representatives. As our print product remains steady, traffic will continue to grow on our big web, as we call it now, mobile, and our mobile app. More of our customers, our readers, are coming onto our mobile, our smartphones. You look at the way you take news, that's the way our readers are now looking at our news. We will continue to produce more video. In January, we had a record. We have 9 photographers and about 30, well, probably about 40 reporters in all sections of the area. We produced over 200 videos in January. That's almost unheard of. We produce them in-house. We put them up on TulsaWorld.com, and our traffic has been going crazy. The other thing that I'd like to leave you with is that we hope that you'll keep reading the Tulsa World. We have a couple of pretty exciting investment announcements coming up, and I've been promised by our publisher that we will break that news in the Tulsa World. I hope I don't have to read about it elsewhere. But it's, like I said, I feel honored and privileged to be leading our newsroom at this time in history. I appreciate your time today and your hospitality. And I just want to say one thing. Rhonda told me when I sat down that you have a tradition of the speaker taking a book and donating it to the local school. And today's book, the one that my name is in and that I got to write a note in, is called Where I Belong. And I would like to say that I did go to the University of Kansas. I grew up in Kansas, but I belong in the Tulsa World, and I belong in Tulsa. Thank you very much.
That was great. Well, now you heard about the book, so you can show the picture. I won't have to repeat that, but I'm so glad that you were with us today. We have upcoming programs. Michelle Place is next week, Executive Director of Tulsa Historical Society, 100 Years of Rotary and City of Tulsa. Then the next week, March 25th, is our Oklahoma City joint meeting. You don't want to miss that one. As we conclude today, I hope you enjoy the warmth of the sun performed by the Beach Boys for today's Light Up Rotary Fun to brighten your day. We are adjourned.